We're really happy to see you guys again. I'm Caroline.
I'm Nicholas.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Tyler.
All right, great. So let's start. Today's topic is going to be about social media. So social media is really important because in today's modern age, it's used very frequently and a lot of people have it. So it's a way to effectively reach a large audience, and lots of organizations and businesses all have social media. So we are going to warm you guys up with a few questions to get you guys thinking about how social media is important. So how is social media helpful in spreading ideas? How can this be useful for businesses? And what are important components of a company's social media presence? Snap a lot, and it just goes to show that social media is really popular and it can connect a lot of people. And usually you guys are also like pretty active on social media, and so it's great to like reach out and connect with a lot of people. And social media is basically like the only platform right now that like you can really connect with everyone and share your thoughts like all at once and reach a lot of people.
When a company is promoting through social media, when they're promoting their brand or their design publicly, they're going to be accessing a large crowd of people. And like one of you mentioned, targeted ads allow you to like specify that group of people that you're trying to go through, because there's such a broad range. You're trying to find a specific group of people that would be interested.
Okay, so just to reiterate that, social media is a valuable tool in promoting businesses and their products to a large audience. And it is important to maintain a professional image on social media pages so your audience knows exactly what your company stands for. So since on social media you can reach so many people, it's important to always stay professional, and that your image on social media will impact a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think it was Kate who brought up it's important for our company to have a good design and a clear understanding of the company's audience. So when at Pali Robotics, we have a very specific way that we structure our social media posts, and we have a mutual understanding of like what we're going to post, so we can like maintain a consistent image. For instance, like we have certain like features that we do every month, or whenever we're doing like a post during our build season, we have like specific captions that we use. Our business team has like experience like with like making sure our page is consistent, so we want to maintain that design. And then we want to know what our audience is interested in. We want to be able to appeal towards them. So like our audience as a page is mainly other robotics teams, right? So we'll use robotics specific hashtags and robotics specific like references that are catered towards that group.
Yeah, so social media is a way to convey your company's ideas and values and be present in the community. So the big four social medias that we use and a lot of other companies use is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So for Facebook, there are large age of ranges, but younger people don't use it as often. You can post longer posts and pictures, and pay special attention to the About Us section. You can talk about where you are located. So for us on Pali Robotics Facebook page, we just say like we're located at Pali High School. You can emphasize your values. So we specifically say that we are a robotics team. And then we also have our mission statement in the About Us section. So how we emphasize education and sharing robotics values. You can also use targeted keywords. So for us, robotics.
Do any of you have experience with Facebook as a platform? It's typically not something that like teens or younger people use, just out of curiosity. Yeah, it's not for reaching a larger audience of people. Facebook isn't ideal. If you've ever used Facebook, you'll realize that it's very convoluted and there's a lot of different features. So when it comes to like, as you guys mentioned earlier, we want to be reaching a broad audience of people. Facebook isn't great, but it does have some good like tools, like photo galleries and stuff like that are useful, but it's not the best tool.
And we tend to use Facebook when we're reaching out to parents to like keep them updated on what we're doing.
Yeah, so Moving on to Instagram, we post a lot of photos, GIFs, and videos, and this mainly focuses on a younger audience, so teens to 20s. Probably most of you do have Instagram, and so you know that like in the bio, keep it concise, that describes who or what you are. You can put like a special personal anecdote or a quote, and for example, it can be making humans obsolete since 1996, and also actively post on stories as well. That's really good for Instagram, where it's like it can be like a very quick post, and it can keep people updated on like a weekly or like a more frequent base. So someone mentioned in the chat that TikTok is also blowing up and is used by a lot of companies to mention their products. Yeah, so that's like great. A lot of people do use TikTok. For us, we have considered using TikTok actually, but we do want to keep like a professional image. Um, and I feel like it's harder to achieve with TikTok since it's more like fun.
An
Yeah.
important thing to consider when you're doing these social media is to keep your personal social media interests and accounts separate from those of the business. Again, the point of the social media business is to be promoting your company and its ideas. So although like yes, TikTok is very popular, it's not entirely professional, like Oliver just mentioned. And yes, it is. A lot of companies are using it because it's a very viable way to promote it. But we always want to be keeping in mind like what does our organization stand for, and that's really going to vary from like business to business. Certain businesses that like promote certain like products that are going to be very popular among like certain communities, like certain like young people for instance, like they tend to use TikTok more, so it'd make more sense for them to promote via TikTok, right? But other companies that like maybe not don't cater towards those audiences maybe don't like necessarily see the need to do that.
So for Twitter, they're mainly short posts, so 280 characters at most, and links. There is a large age range, but younger than Facebook. And then images are nice, but not necessary for every tweet. So Twitter is like pretty similar to Facebook. Not a lot of like young people use it, but it's still good to like have multiple platforms to share. And then lastly is YouTube. So there's a very large age range, which is good. Chances are everyone has used YouTube at some point in their life. And on YouTube, we post videos on big or monumental events. So it's not more like a daily thing. We only like post on like big things that happen. So when we go to competitions or our robot reveal or like our end of the year review, this is when we post on YouTube. So YouTube isn't as good to like keep people updated on what you're doing, and it's more of like a showcase on like all the things that you've achieved.
A note about YouTube, it's also a great way for like other teams, like if you're posting like a robot reveal video, other teams or other members of other teams like tend to like notice that. They're like, oh yeah, this is what this team is doing. So it's like it does show a final product. For instance, like when we're looking for videos of other robots or like their robot reveal, we're actively checking their YouTube because we know that it's going to be posted there. So that's something that we're always like checking because we know that teams tend to post like their final products and stuff like that in both to show off and say like, oh yeah, this is what we achieved, but also to communicate with other teams.
Just something small to add. A lot of teams like YouTube, since it's such a big platform where we post like the monumental things, like you can see how like the social medias kind of like blend into each other, because a lot of teams, like including ourselves, like we promote some of our YouTube videos on our Instagram or on our Facebook.
Okay, so here are some tips on marketing on social media. First is to always proofread and double check the information. So I know with social media, since it's it's used so frequently, a lot of people have gotten comfortable with just like posting whatever on their social media. But it's important to remember that for a business, you want to stay professional and you want to like check that you're posting like good information. So for Pally Robotics, before we post on any of our social medias, like we double check as a team. So like multiple people will go over the information that we post. And then once everyone agrees to it, then we post it. Also keep everyone updated with pictures if possible and post regularly. I think like we've achieved this, especially with Instagram. So like with story posts, we can keep a lot of people updated regularly. And then lastly, use hashtags. So this is similar to keywords, and it brings people to your niche basically. Okay, so time for an activity. We will be showing you a series of images of products that are being marketed online. So how would you caption them? Write a caption for each image and add relevant hashtags. Make it concise and catchy.